Well, welcome back, guys. This is my first actual build video. You guys get to see me working on my 801 Super Duty 527 Alpha Kilo. So, getting started here, I am working on the rudder spar and the doublers. So each of these spars that you're going to see me work on throughout this video has doublers on them, which provide more rigidity and strength, because they're the parts that are going to be they're the most structural parts, along with the ribs, that provide the shape and the strength of the airfoils. And so this is for the rudder, for the vertical tail. You're seeing me mark out places. There's a little bit of an edge that needs to get cut to make it flush with the spar itself. And then once I'm done marking and clamping, I'm going to start drilling a whole bunch of holes. One thing I've learned about building a plane is that it's just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. So drilling lots of holes, setting lots of rivets. Haven't gotten to the rivets yet, but got lots of holes ready to go. You also spend lots of time looking at your plans because you don't want to do anything wrong. You want to make sure you're doing it right. So I read the plans before I start working, and then I usually read the plans 2 or 3 or 4, sometimes even 5 times again while I'm working, just to make sure that I am doing everything right. So those little things that you see, like little copper sticks that you see sticking up from this spar right now, those are what we call clecos. They're essentially temporary rivets that we use to hold the pieces together while we don't have, before we put in the actual rivets. Gotta take a picture of my work, and here's the picture that you just saw of what you saw me working on. It's the rudder spar with those clecos sticking up to hold the pieces together. And now I'm switching over to working on the stabilizer spars, the horizontal stabilizer. This is the front spar. There's a big hole in the middle, what we call a lightning hole for cables to go through. And I'm doing the same thing that you saw me doing with the rudder spar. I'm checking where the pieces are supposed to lay. I'm putting them in the right spot, clamping them in so I can drill holes. But because of that lightning hole that's right in the middle, I have to do a lot of filing on these doublers in order to create a little curve where they can, sit into the channel of the spar without interfering with that lightning hole. So you're going to see me here in a little bit take out these doublers and do a whole lot of filing. I usually like to listen to audiobooks while I'm down working in the garage, but while I'm doing this filing, it just makes an obnoxiously loud, piercing, sharp noise. I might play some of it for you guys so you can see what I had to go through. You eventually see me put on earmuffs just because it is so annoying. But it had to be done, so I'm here filing away. So I finally got happy with where I filed the edges down to and start drilling some holes, throwing in some clecos, getting it put in position so it's ready to go. And so those clecos, as I described them a little bit earlier, they hold those two pieces together so that all your holes end up lined up. They're basically like tiny little clamps that fit into those rivet holes. Like I said, the best way to describe them is temporary rivets. Done drilling, time to clean up the station a little bit. This ends up taking a lot more time than you think. You're like, oh sweet, I'm going to spend 2 hours in the garage working on the plane, and then you spend half an hour of it cleaning and getting stuff ready. So here I use acetone frequently to just get off the labels that they put onto the pieces. The pieces need to be labeled so I know what they are. But those labels have to come off, and then any markings on the pieces need to come off. So I use acetone a lot for that. It's very helpful. And I've got this piece marked and ready to file again. Here's the earmuffs. It was just so obnoxiously loud. Here, I'll throw in a clip for you. It sounds a bit like this. Yeah, that's annoying. I don't want to listen to that the entire time. I check it several times, line it up, look at the hole, make sure I've got enough spacing on those edges, and figure out that I don't. And have to go back and file a little more, mark it again, file it a little more. Up to this point, all the drilling you've seen me do, I've been using a DeWalt cordless drill. About here, so I bought a air drill, and about this point I decided, hey, let's try out this air drill, let's see how it works. So I drilled a couple holes with it, and then at some point in here, you see me go back and forth between the two drills because I'm a bit of a nerd, and right here I'm going back and forth between the drills because I wanted to test the drills, see which one was faster, see which one drilled through a little bit quicker. And it wasn't entirely conclusive is the right word. They took a couple seconds different from each other. One of the holes I drilled with the air drill took 15 seconds when the holes I drilled with the cordless drill took 13 seconds, and then the cordless drill took 30 seconds on the next hole, and the air drill took 15 seconds again. But the big break, the big thing for me was once I started using the air drill, my air compressor couldn't keep up. And so it needed to be running constantly in order to use the air drill. So it might have been a little bit faster, but it was a whole lot more annoying because I couldn't listen to my audiobooks. I just had to listen to an air compressor run, which was not enjoyable. And I'm sure my wife upstairs did not enjoy it much either. So I went back to the cordless drill because it was a lot quieter and a little bit easier to manage. And now that all the holes are drilled, I get to start the process of getting these pieces ready for rivets. So right here you see me using a little tool, it's called a deburring tool. Spin it around those holes and it gets rid of any of the edges and the burrs that are on there from the drilling process. You have to do that in order to make sure that the metal pieces sit flat against each other. If there's a little bit of a burr, that's going to cause, during all the vibrations that an airplane experiences, that's going to cause rubbing. It's going to cause premature failure of the parts because it's just going to start slicing into each other. together. So you really want to do this to make sure that when you rivet them, that rivet pulls the two pieces together as flat and flush as possible. It gives it as much strength as possible and prevents failure from that rubbing that you could experience if you have burrs in there still. So you see me run through all these pieces with this little deburring tool, just spin it around, cuts off all the edges. It's got a little cutting tool on it. I'll try to get a picture sometime and throw it up, show you guys what I'm actually using so you can get a better idea. Thank you guys for joining me again as I drilled out all the doublers for the rudder spar and for the front stabilizer spar. I still have the rear stabilizer spar and the elevator spar to go. I'll see if I post those videos or not. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. If you guys liked it, click the like button down below and throw any comments and questions that you have down there. Love to see them. Bye.